Welcome back to the Gracefully Growing podcast, the space where we talk about real teen life, real emotions, and real growth. I'm your host, Dr. Kemi Kupola, educator, author, speaker, and gratitude advocate, as well as mom to an amazing 13-year-old sunshine. I am so excited that you have continued on this journey with me as I explore the five key principles that will guide you to a fulfilling life. And those five key principles are gratitude, reflection, affirmations, connections, as well as empathy. If this is your first time here, we break down how to live with intention and thrive in this wild journey called life using the five key principles that I mentioned earlier. If you've come across this video and any other social media platform and you are not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. We've made it to nearly 2,000 subscribers. We are literally about 190 subscribers away from 2,000. So help me get to 2,000 subscribers by making sure that you're clicking that subscribe button and be sure to turn on your notification bell so that you will receive notification when I drop a new episode. And I drop new episodes every Monday morning. Before we begin, I always encourage you to grab a notebook so that you can take notes. So if you do not have a notebook, feel free to open your notes app on your phone so you can take some notes. For those of you who have been with me for a minute, you may already have a journal. So if you have your journal, go ahead and grab your journal as well. And if you're looking for a great journal that will help you on your journey, I have written the Affirmation Gratitude Journal that is available on Amazon. And I'm going to post the link to my Amazon store in the show notes. So let's talk about why we're here today. Today we are tackling something that almost every teenager experiences, but very few people talk about honestly. And we're going to call today's episode Comparison is Stealing Your Confidence. Last week, I explored confidence as a way to show up. And today, I'm delving deeper into it by looking at how comparison steals your confidence. So let me ask you something. Have you ever been feeling perfectly fine about yourself until you opened Instagram or you opened TikTok? Suddenly, someone looks better, someone seems happier, someone has better grades, someone is going on cool trips, someone has more friends or more followers, someone is doing something you wish you were doing. And within 30 seconds of scrolling, your mood changes, your confidence drops, your brain starts whispering things like, maybe I'm not good enough. Everyone else seems to have it figured out. Why am I behind? If this sounds familiar, welcome to the human race. And today we're going to talk about why comparison happens and how to stop letting it steal your confidence. I'm going to start with something called the comparison trap and talk about a truth that most people don't realize. Your brain is wired to compare. You see, thousands of years ago, humans compared themselves to others in order for them to understand who had resources, who had strengths, who had knowledge. Comparison is actually an ancient survival tool. And what it did was it helped humans learn and adapt. But today, comparison isn't helping us survive. It's making us feel like we're losing a competition that doesn't actually exist. Now add social media into the mix. And suddenly your brain is comparing you to influencers, to athletes, to celebrities, the smartest kid in class, the most popular kid in school, people you don't even know. Here's the tricky part. You are comparing your real life to someone's carefully curated highlight reel. And that's like comparing your Monday morning hair to someone's professional photo shoot. Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? Let's talk honestly about social media for a second. I did a whole episode about social media. The real life is not real life. Here's what you want to understand about social media. It's a curated museum of people's best moments. Most people don't share their messy moments. Nobody shares awkward moments. No one shares the bad grades, the fight with friends, the crying in the car. Well, some people do. The insecurity. What you see instead, or what they want you to see instead, and what is posted instead is the outfit, not the insecurity. It's the smile, but not the anxiety behind the smile. The success, but not the struggle. Now, here's something that's a little bit funny about this. Imagine if school worked like social media. So you walked into class and everybody only shows their best test scores, their best outfit, their funniest jokes, their happiest moments. Meanwhile, all your brain says is everyone else is doing better than me. But the truth, everyone is struggling with something you can't see. That's how comparison slowly damages your confidence. We're going to examine three major ways that this can happen. Number one, comparison can distort your self image to where you stop seeing your strengths. Instead, you focus on what you don't have. So instead of you focusing on a strength such as you being good at art, your brain tells you, oh, well, that other person is better. Instead of you saying to yourself, I improved my math grade, your brain is telling you, oh, but he got a higher score. See how comparison is distorting your self image? Number two, comparison creates identity confusion. During your teen years, that is when you are discovering who you are, what you enjoy, what you believe. But comparison pushes you to continue to ask, who should I be instead? And when I tell you this, that is exhausting to continuously ask that instead of you enjoying where you are in the moment. Number three, comparison fuels anxiety and self doubt. Because what comparison does is it trains your brain to believe that you are behind. But here's the truth that a lot of adults learn later. Everyone's timeline is different. Some people shine early, some people shine later, some people shine quietly, some people shine loudly. But comparison convinces you that only one type of success counts. Let me tell you a quick story. I once spoke to a group of high school students and I asked them this question. Who here feels like everyone else has their life together? When I tell you, every hand in that room went up. So then I asked the follow up question. Who feels like they're secretly figuring things out as they go? Every single hand stayed up in that room, which means something powerful. Everyone thinks everyone else is confident. But the truth is, most people are just good at hiding their uncertainty. So confidence isn't about having everything figured out, like I taught you guys last week. It's about learning to trust your own growth in the process. What you can do is reset your mindset using the grace framework. And now let's walk through that together. We're going to start with gratitude. Remember that comparison trains your brain to look at what you don't have. Gratitude trains your brain to notice what you already have. And there's something interesting about your brain. When you focus on lack, your brain activates your stress responses. But when you focus on gratitude, Your brain releases chemicals linked to calm and well-being. So gratitude isn't just positive thinking, it's brain science. I want you to catch yourself when you're thinking that everyone else is better than you. And when you catch yourself, I want you to pause and then ask yourself this: what is something about me that I appreciate? Maybe it's your creativity when solving problems, your humor that makes people laugh, your kindness towards your friends, your persistence when things get hard, your curiosity about learning new things. Or is it your courage to try even when you're nervous? What is something about yourself that you appreciate? That's the question. Here's something important that I want you to remember. Your strengths might not look flashy on social media, and kindness doesn't always go viral. Patience doesn't always get likes, but those qualities build real character and real confidence. Sometimes, as teenagers, you tend to think that confidence means being the loudest person in the room. But often, the most confident people are the ones quietly thinking to themselves, I know who I am. And remember that confidence grows in environments where gratitude is practiced. So instead of starting your day thinking, who's doing better than me? I want you to try thinking to yourself, what is already good about me? That one question completely shifts your mindset. Now let's move on to reflection. Reflection helps you to slow down and challenge the stories your brain creates, because comparison often tells a very incomplete story. When you find yourself in a situation where you are trying to compare yourself to somebody, I want you to ask yourself this one powerful question: am I comparing my beginning to someone else's middle? Think about that for a minute. Are you comparing your beginning to someone else's middle? Because here's the thing: you might see someone online who plays an instrument beautifully. They get in straight A's. They seem confident speaking in class and speaking in public. They have a large following online. But what you don't see is the years of practice behind those results. So you may be comparing your first attempt to someone else's fifth year of experience. That's like walking into a gym for the first time and expecting to lift the same weight as someone who's been training for 5 years. Of course, it feels unfair because it is unfair. So, what reflection does it helps you to ask better questions like the following: what steps did this person take to get where they are? What can I learn from their journey? What small step can I take today? Growth is not supposed to feel perfect. Growth is supposed to feel messy, awkward, uncertain. Every confident person you admire was once the beginner who didn't know what they were doing. So please give yourself the permission to be that beginner. Now let's talk about affirmations. Affirmations are not about pretending everything is perfect, but they are about speaking truth to yourself when doubt gets loud. And I promise you, doubt will get loud because comparison tends to create some pretty harsh internal dialogue when your brain might be saying things like, I'm not good enough. Everyone else is ahead of me. Why am I even trying? Affirmations interrupt those thoughts in the moment and they replace them with statements that reinforce your identity. And so instead of saying you're not good enough, everyone else is ahead of you, why are you even trying? I want you to try saying these instead: my journey does not have to look like anyone else's. Because remember this, you are beautifully and authentically you. So therefore, your journey is going to be authentically your journey. I am growing at the pace that is right for me. I don't need to compete with people who are on a different path. I am allowed to learn, improve, and evolve. I am 53 years old. I am still learning. I'm still improving. I am still evolving. And here's a secret about affirmations. At first, they will feel awkward. I know they will. And your brain might start to build a different story. But the more you repeat affirmations, the more your brain begins to accept them as the truth. Self talk, positive self talk. That's really what affirmations are. That's that inner voice. And it matters because the voice you hear the most in your life will be your own voice. So make sure that that self talk, that voice in your head, make sure it is one that encourages you, not one that tears you down. Moving on to connections. Comparison often makes people withdraw. Comparison gets you to thinking everyone else has it figured out. I am the only one struggling. No one would understand. But that's usually not true. Remember my story about giving a presentation to a group of teenagers? And when I asked the question, who feels like everybody else has everything figured out? And all hands went up. And then I asked the follow up question, who feels like they're secretly struggling to figure it out? And their hands stayed up because the fact is, most teens and honestly, most adults are figuring things out as they go along. And when you talk to someone you trust, you often discover something surprising. They might say stuff like, oh, wait, you feel that way too? Connection reminds you that you're not alone in your experiences. They often tell you each week you do not have to do hard things alone. Why should you? I also remind you each week that your goal is to surround yourself with people that speak life over you, that speak life over your dreams, that affirm you each day. You need to have your own personal hype through. Call you up when you mess up, but they also build you up. Your connection is your community. Trusted friends, a teacher, a mentor, parent, guardian, your favorite auntie, favorite uncle, grandma, grandpa. These are the people in your community that create your connections. And you need to learn to lean into them, especially when you are not yet strong in affirming yourself, so that they can help build you up. It is sometimes as easy as you vocalizing. I've been comparing myself to others a lot lately. Speaking it out loud. There's something called if you can name the feeling, then you can tame it, right? When you speak out loud and you tell somebody that you trust, hey, I've been comparing myself to others a lot lately. This can lift a huge emotional weight off of you. Remember, confidence does not grow in isolation. Confidence grows in supportive relationships and honest conversations. Empathy, which is the E in grace. But this time, I want to talk to you about empathy for yourself. Most teens are often incredibly kind to their friends, but extremely hard towards themselves. Most teens are their own worst critic. So I want you to think about this way. If a friend said to you, I feel like I'm behind everyone else, you probably wouldn't say, yeah, you're right, you should give up. Yeah, you should just give up on life right now, right? You wouldn't say that because you have empathy for your friend. You'd probably say something like, you're doing better than you think. You probably encourage them with words like, oh, I know we're all still learning together. I can see growth in you, or something like, you may not see your progress yet, but I see the progress in you, right? So I want you to offer yourself the same compassion that you give to others. So instead of that self criticism, try asking, what would I say to a friend in this situation? And then say those exact same words to yourself. Young people, growth is hard, learning is messy, and confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about learning to be patient with your own journey. So, as you're learning and you are growing, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Extend the same grace to yourself that you extend to other people. Let's talk about your challenge for this week. And I'm going to call this challenge the comparison detox for the next 48 hours. So this episode is going to come out on Monday. If you're catching it on Monday or whenever it is you're catching it, I want you to block off the next 48 hours. And here's what I want you to try over the 48 hours for the next 48 hours. Number one, I want you to notice when that comparison shows up. Number two, I want you to pause and ask, what story am I telling myself right now? And then number three, replace that comparison with curiosity. So instead of you thinking, oh, they're better than me, ask instead, what can I learn from them? And finally, write down three things you're proud of about yourself this week. Small wins count. Celebrate those small wins because confidence grows when you recognize your own progress. In closing, I want you to remember this. Comparison is loud, but real confidence is quiet. Quiet confidence says, I don't need to compete with everyone. Why? I'm focused on growing. Why? And becoming the best version of myself. This is a journey, not a race. It's a story. And the best stories take time to unfold. So if this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend who might need to hear it. And remember, keep growing, keep learning, and keep living with grace. Until next time, remember, you got this, and I am cheering you on. And I'll see you next week.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Gracefully Growing. Thank you so much for tuning in and growing with me. Remember, living with grace means showing gratitude, taking the time for reflection, speaking powerful affirmations, building strong connections, and practicing daily empathy with yourself and others. If today's episode gave you something to think about, inspired you, or made you smile, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also download today's free resource in the show notes and join our Gracefully Growing community on social media for more tools, encouragement, and real talk. Until next time, keep showing up for yourself, keep growing, and most of all, keep living with grace. I am Dr. Kemi. See you next week.